How would you like to achieve your first million? And we have Chris joining today from South Carolina, and he has an amazing product, water. He's the founder of this amazing product that our body is full of water. So this is something that we need more than anything. So Chris, tell us, what are the 5 steps that you recommend to entrepreneurs out there in order to sell the first million?
Welcome to Unstoppable Podcast with Harry Sardinas, inspiring conversations with influential millionaires, investors, thought leaders, entrepreneurs who are making a massive difference with their innovative products and services, and sharing the challenges and wisdom of how they sold their first million.
Yeah, I think there's a few thoughts that I have. Obviously, aside from your business plan and going through that and understanding it and having the right capital, there's 5 other things that I think are extremely important to get your first million. And that is that, when you start your company, there should be some thought around what do you want that company to be? What purpose does it serve? Is it something that you're just going to, you're creating an investment that you're going to exit and spin somewhere off in the distance as an investment, or is it something you're going to keep for your family and be multi-generational? Whatever you decide it is, it could have different tracks of work and a different strategy and certainly a different trajectory. So I think you got to answer that first. What do you want your company to be? The second thing is, I'm a big believer in involve your family right from the very start. They need to know what your company is, what your product is, the life you're leading, and how they play a role in it. And for them to be good stewards in the future of the company, if you decide it's going to be multi-generational, involve them right from the beginning, because you're going to go through a journey and it's going to have challenges and it's going to have ups and downs, and you're going to fall down and have to get back up. And the entire journey is priceless, and you wouldn't want your family to miss it. So that's number 2, in my opinion. The third is reading the market. And what I mean by that is not just reading today's market and making sure that you design a product for today's market or services. It's really about where the market is heading. In the United States right now, we are going through a health renaissance. And we have 39 million Americans that have diabetes in the United States. It's almost the population of Canada. 1 in 5 children are considered obese. So we have a health crisis in this country, and we're going after it now. We wanted to make sure that our product was, when the American consumer gets on that healthy track more, appropriately, we want that light to shine on us as a brand. So I would suggest that if you can design products and services that are where the market is moving, you're better off, and you could be more successful. The fourth is really build your company. It's what I describe as building your company. You're going to get sales, you're going to work hard, and that's going to grow over time. But if each and every step along the way and each and every stage, if you're not building your company to that stage, you don't create, number 1, a backstop, so you don't slide backwards. And then number 2, as you get closer and closer to having a breakout in sales, if you have not built the kind of organization to deliver on that, you're going to fail. And you're going to have customers that you need that are going to exit you. So build your company along the way. Take the opportunity, whether it's a process or a system, whatever it is, build along the way, day by day, brick by brick, process by process, so that 1 year from now, you're better no matter what. And then the fifth is what I would describe as partner with the hungry. There's big corporations out there, and everybody as a new company or a new brand wants to go after the big guys, right? The problem with the big guys is they're hard to deal with. They're very inflexible. They're very expensive. And they, frankly, don't care if you survive or not. If you partner with the hungry, other small business people, other partners that you need, whether it be supply chain people, suppliers, producers, marketing firms, whatever it may be, if they're just as hungry as you are, you create a network of people that of mutual benefit. So the fifth one for me is really partner with the hungry. So it's what do you want your company to be? Involve your family, read the market, not where it is today, where it's going, build the company along the way, brick by brick, and then number 5, partner with the hungry. So those are my 5 steps.
Oh, that's brilliant. And drinking industry is the one of the most competitive uh, out there. So, what made you think that as a small business you can go there and and compete with the big guys in a product that requires a lot of, because it's water, requires a lot of branding. You have to tell the story and what the product represents.
Hmm.
And the players out there, the other day I have a conversation with people that supply supermarket, and they were telling me things that they were unreasonable for me. They would say, no, no, they will take your first order and they won't pay you anything. They just
Yeah.
will try, and you have to pay for it, either it works or not.
Hmm.
And they just will put the water there. It's not like they're gonna put it tidy. They're gonna put it there, and off you go. Yeah. So that's that was a comment that came to me a
Hmm.
little bit. So it's an industry that to penetrate the product is the competitiveness is very aggressive,
Hmm.
and the big boys, say in supermarket or distribution channels, sometimes take advantage of the small guys.
Hmm.
And on the other hand, if it's very competitive and there's a lot of it, it's because there is a big demand, right? Especially water. When I personally drink a lot of water. So how you make this step? What pros and cons you analyze before to jumping into this venture? And do you really knew how competitive and how tough it's gonna be? You
Hmm.
knew before, or you knew after you dive in and start to penetrate and try to get market share?
No, I knew it. I'm from the beverage industry.
Ah, wow.
So
So
I
you
grew
you
up.
knew what you were getting into, eh?
Yes,
Oh, thanks God, because
yeah, I grew up with the Cokes and Pepsis of the world and all of those
ah,
things.
wow.
So in 2017, I retired from the corporate world, and we headed down the path, Harry, of starting a food processing company to create jobs in a community that we were connected to, that
Wow.
got hit with a lot of factory closures. But during all of that, we were getting ready with a group of people. We were getting ready to launch that company, and the COVID pandemic hit, and that stopped the entire project. But we had learned a lot, especially around barley. We had learned a lot during all of that. And as the COVID pandemic kind of wore on, we saw that Americans were looking for cleaner products, one that were healthier, and we saw the beginning of a health movement.
Hmm.
Uh, and we knew that barley was a product that had long medicinal histories. I knew the beverage industry, and we just saw the trends changing. And then recently, as you're probably aware, in the United States, we have a new administration and we have a health renaissance happening as we speak.
Hmm.
So we saw
Hmm.
all of that, and we knew we had a product that could match up to where the public wanted to go, even if they weren't there yet. So we just put all of that together and said, all right, well, let's work on a brand that would fit that need and help the consumers that want to have an active lifestyle, but also have brands that are cleaner, healthier for them, and could have a medicinal value. And we saw the beverage industry as being just it's just a sea of sugary, unhealthy drinks,
Hmm.
and we thought we could stand out. And I knew the industry enough to be able to navigate.
100%.
Right, and that's
100,
how we got.
100%. And I live in London, and definitely the industry has changed, because when I go to a supermarket, my girlfriend, she drinks Coca-Cola, and she like that one that have the sugar. And
Yeah.
somehow, one day I'm going to the supermarket, and it's like the Coca-Cola with sugar is like 230, and the other one with no sugar is like 99 pence, something like that,
Yeah.
135,
Mm.
almost half price.
Right.
The other one is close sometimes to £3, the sugar one.
Mm.
And my girlfriend, no, I like that one, I like that one. I said, Lily, when you would be helpful if you start to reconsider to use the diet one of the zero, whatever, because it's 50% cheaper. Tastes the
Right.
same thing, you're paying literally double. So what it means that different governments, I live in Europe, I live in London, already are um, even, I'm sure that Coca-Cola sell all the drinks at the same price. They're just putting a tax on sugar and the
Yeah.
consumer to pay, same like we did with cigarettes, right?
Hmm.
So, and the consumer Even me, I'm telling my girlfriend, look, pick the other drink. It's not a big deal. And we say
Mhm.
50%. It's 50% almost.
Mhm.
So, and I see here in United States, finally, a move pro to do something to take care of the health of people, right?
Mhm.
And that needs a lot of work from government
Yep.
to companies. Unless, actually, let me ask you this question, okay? Because we have a new administration, which is America first, and now
Mhm.
here you are, Chris, producing a bottle of water, okay, with a specific characteristic, and it's a made USA product, I believe.
Mhm.
Is that correct?
Yes, it is. All of it. Yep.
Okay, so what is gonna happen if I bring the water for Turkey? I have one client that owns 300 supermarket, and he's telling me on the phone all the time, well, I can get you water from Turkey really cheap to United States. How are you gonna compete with that product that is made in Turkey that landing here if if I don't know whatever the tariffs negotiate, I don't think you will be able to compete because here the salaries in the United States are more higher, the facility, the production, have to pay rent and everything. Is the government's gonna finance you? Is they gonna help you? They're gonna keep a supermarket space just from U.S. products. Uh, I think it's a long way the government need to work because the truth is that we, yeah, in terms of water or other products, those big giants that with large conglomerate, they buy so large quantity that they can get the price of the unit
Right.
really
Right.
cheap. So how are you gonna compete?
Well, you'll never compete with the Cokes and Pepsis of the world with their purchasing power.
100%.
Uh, their
Or with other
leverage.
bigs.
Yeah, exactly. From their leverage purchasing, we can't compete with. What we compete with is the quality of your product, number one, and where it's produced. So if I were going over to
Mm-hmm.
Turkey,
Mm-hmm.
if I were taking our product over to Turkey, we only sell in the U.S. right now. So everything that we produce, the ingredients and everything comes from the U.S. right now. I believe in wherever you are going into a market to as much degree as you can, do the local market.
Mm-hmm.
And have as much effect on small business people there locally as you can. And there's nothing wrong with that, in my opinion. That's just, you're protecting your own country first, and that's good.
I'm seeing it's happening, for example, in United Kingdom. You go to a supermarket, I think, is it Aldi actually? Is it
Yeah.
Aldi? Aldi, yeah. What they have, I believe last time I checked, it was the fastest growing supermarket in United Kingdom. The growing faster, and one of the techniques they did, they start to bring meat and products made in England, in UK, and you could notice this product because uh, a quarter of the package had the UK flag.
Oh,
You see,
yep,
so you clearly they put the
yep,
flag so big that you knew that is a British product, and they
yep.
use this as a marketing strategy, and somehow they managed to educate the consumer, and the consumer got educated enough because at the end of the day, a consumer who had the buying power, and that was one of the most successful things that happened because, in fact, the people there in United Kingdom, they don't mind to spend a little bit more in order
Mhm.
to support the local farmer, the local industry, and everything.
Yeah.
So how we are in terms of the education of the consumer here in the United States, where here we can call it that is more aggressive, and
Yeah.
in terms that everybody is trying to make a bucks, yeah, and everybody's trying to save money, and people, if they can set them pace, they want is I'm happy for with the and seeing with the car industry, for example. You see in US, you see in the roads, and I don't know, I've seen 7 or 6 out of 10 cars are from abroad. They're not from
Right,
US.
right.
So meaning that the consumer, the U.S. consumer, and then you ask the U.S. consumer, and they say, "What do you buy? I don't know, a car from somewhere else?" And they say, "Well, it's cheaper." I save money. What can I do? So I said, "Look, but the other one already made here is not that expensive compared with the other one, maybe a little bit more. But if you buy this
Yeah.
product here, you will be helping, the people in the country that works in that factory. You might be feeding because you
Hmm.
bought this American car, you might be feeding families in your own country. Your own country can be
Yeah.
growing and could be even better for you at the end of the day.
Hmm.
But it's a lot of education that has to. So, what do you think that the government? Because I believe that this has to be um, um, a collaboration between all entities in order to make this work, and the government has to play a big part. And we have seen some progress, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
We have seen some progress. So, but how we gonna? What more do you think that they can do in terms of educating the consumer? Do you think that the government should give you a grant and then you as a brand educate the consumer, or do you think that they should be running ads and they should be as a government policy uh, sending a message in order to keep everybody healthy? Because what is true is that U.S. population is one of the unhealthiest in the world. I travel a lot, and if you go to a supermarket and you see the people in Italy, France, Singapore, Dubai, Mexico, Peru, and then you go to a supermarket, you see the people here, you clearly can identify there's a lot of obesity. UK has a lot of obesity as well, but it's a lot. Have been gone out of hand.
Yeah. Well, I think to answer the question, Harry, is me personally, I think you always have to be respectful of the local market. And whoever those consumers are, you be respectful of that market and those consumers. Have a value added product that I'm not going to ever compete with just basic water. That's pennies on the dollar. We'll never compete with that because we have better ingredients. We infuse it with things. It's the cost of goods is more. So we have to get a better price
And
for
it's
our
good
product,
for your health.
and it's good for your health. So you play to the value of the product, be respectful of the local consumer, and to whatever degree we can when the volume grows. If I were going into the UK, for instance, whenever the volume begins to grow, start doing more in the UK for that product, whether
Mm,
producing it or whatever the case may be.
mm.
But that's really a commitment to that country and that community and that local market. And that is what I would do, to be respectful of those people in that market and not pretend to be something we're not. In the
Um,
US, we know exactly how to speak to it. In the UK, whatever that market is, we would study. We would go to the local marketing agencies that understood, the people in the UK and the diversity there, and make sure what we're saying, what we're messaging, and even what the product looks like on the label. Make sure it's akin to the culture there. That to me would be important to going to another country, and that's the best way I can answer that.
yeah, and water, it might seem simple. Oh, water, I don't care what water I buy and drink. But if we look carefully, it's one of the most important things because the cell actually there is something that we really need for sure is
Yep.
water, and the quality of the water that we consume can have a big impact in the quality of
Of your
of
life.
our health, exactly, and also
Yes.
the impact on the environment as well. The
Hmm.
This a lot of work has to be done in terms of how we're gonna keep a sustainable way because these bottling plastics of water in plastic is polluting the environment, and we have to look at alternative source. But then you go out there to the market and you find a bottle of
Hmm.
water which is glass, is heavy, is way too
Yeah.
expensive, and it doesn't really work. So what's your view? How we can create? Because at the end, we talk in this broadcast a lot about social responsibility. Okay,
Hmm. Right.
and it doesn't start only by putting the plastic bottle to recycle. It has to be exactly what you said, produce and sell in your own
Right.
country and develop a community because by you producing this product in your country, you're creating jobs in that country. You're creating a community around the enterprise, and the more people support the product, the more that community can grow. Uh, at the same time, the consumers are getting really smart now and
Right.
really savvy, and they are learning, especially the young generation. And we have done research, and we find out that even the generations now, they prefer to work in a place that they get paid less, but it's more sustainable. That
Right.
they take care, and they donate to charity, and they are more socially responsible. And so one of the biggest challenges in social responsibility is actually keep us healthy. Something that I always say here that with the insurance system should be on the other way, right? We should we should pay when we are healthy, and when we are sick, we don't pay, right? So
Yes.
then
Yes.
everybody will be very interested to keep us healthy. Then
Everybody would.
your product is gonna be all over the place. You see,
Yes.
everybody will be no, let's keep them healthy because they are paid. You see. So what do you
Right.
think? So what views, oh, tell us a little bit more to our audience to know what is the impact of water, how drinking high quality water can have a massive impact in your life.
Sure. Sure. I mean, I'll focus on barley here. We don't use the grain barley. In the base of our drink, we use barley grass juice powder. And that's an important point of differentiation because it's not the grain, it's actually the tender young grass that's used, and that has no gluten as a result of that. So, barley grass juice powder has been known and has long medicinal histories for detoxifying the body, the liver,
Wow.
the gastrointestinal tract, and it also affects, free radicals. So we wanted to use barley grass juice powder for that reason. And then everything's organic, and I'll talk about organic in a minute. And then we infused it with vitamin D, C, and zinc for immunity boosting, natural immunity boosting power. And we went with organic for a reason, and it was a disadvantage for us at first to go
Hmm.
into market with a certified organic product. In
Hmm.
the United States, certified organic is very rigorous, and it starts literally with the soil. So
Wow.
how the product is raised, you can't use any kind of chemical. Everything has to be natural, and pesticides, those types of things. It has to be certain soil treatments, and then all the way up the chain to the people who process the ingredients, to the people who produce the product, all the way through have to be certified organic, which means their facilities, all the product as it flows through the facility has to be certified with the federal government and has to pass a test. And you get audited once a year, and it's unannounced. So they could show up on a Friday evening, and you got to stay for 2 days and have the entire place audited, and you're going to live and die by that audit score. So we
Wow.
felt we felt that organic was important for
That sounds
building trust.
expensive.
It is, and that's why organic products typically can be more expensive because they are definitely more expensive to produce. So we chose the organic path because we wanted, number one,
Wow.
we wanted to feel comfortable ourselves in how it was processed, number one, and number two, we want the consuming public that what they see on the label, they can trust that that's in the actual product, and that's how we differentiate ourselves in the sea of beverages out there.
And
So
the more the consumers, which is the tendency that little by little, very slowly, but the consumer of organic product
Mhm.
are increasing because there are more, the market little by little is learning more about, like, to buy an organic product. It's just not, you're not just paying a lot of money. Number one, it's good for you.
Yep.
Number two, the whole supply chain has been verified. And
Yes.
I'm aware some European products as well, when they have a certification from organic,
Mhm.
in Europe also they go under the deep scrutiny as well,
Yep.
in until finally they get them the certification, because exactly as you described, it comes from the soil, from they check out not just the product, the supply chain around to make sure that that
Yes.
complies. And again, that sounds expensive, and I think that you have to. It's not you just get it and that's it. They do continuous check to make sure that you
Yes.
are
Hmm.
keeping up the levels. Um, how what do you think? Do you need do you have received any help from the government, from the I don't know how they call it in United States, as for the city or from the council? In UK we call it council, or anybody helping you, because he thinks that it's a lot of weight for you to carry along, and at the end of the day, your product is solving social problem in a way. So you
Hmm.
shouldn't be alone in this back then, and on top of that, competing with big giants around there that they have a huge buying power.
Hmm.
So any help, at least from the local charity or from someone in the community, because this is something that we have to keep the conversation going, because otherwise it's not sustainable. Is you want to make the world a better place. You want to empower the local communities. You want to don't damage the soil. We want to leave this planet very good for the next generation to come. For people that have kids, for example, right? A lot
Right.
of people
Right.
that buy this organic product, they have kids. They don't want to leave a legacy to the kids, a planet that is totally destroyed. So people that have kids, they have this buying power, and they prefer to spend more in this kind of product.
Hmm.
But it still is a lot
Hmm.
for a small company to go through. Do you think?
It is. It is. We don't, to answer your question, we don't take any help from government, and we don't want to. So we're not we don't take any grant money or anything from the government. So we've funded this up ourselves up to this point. But we are a small company still, and we have a small staff, and we use everybody by third party. So we have a third party supply chain warehouse fulfillment house. We have a third party brand management company that does our sales. It's called Cascadia Managing Brands, and they brought some of the most well-known brands in the United States to market. We use them as our third-party sales team, and then we do sales ourselves. And we have outside marketing agencies, and we have outside agencies for just about everything. And we work it that way. And we're going to grow significantly before we start bringing more people into house because that's more expensive. So we're using them right now, and we will continue to use them for the foreseeable future. And that's how we do it. But for companies here in the United States, if they're startup companies, there are avenues for them to go to. They can go to angel funds. They call them angel funds here in the United States. I am a member of an angel fund locally. So we
Hmm.
invest in small companies all the time locally.
Very good.
And that's where you can get some money to get some seed money started. There's always family and friends, they call it here in the United States. And then above angel funds, if you want to get to your next phase of funding that you need, there's venture capital groups, and they are very well formed here in the United States. So that's typically how people do it. And then at some point, they can go get bank loans or capital through different sources. But that's typically how it's done here in the United States. We were lucky enough. I'm old enough, as you can see. I'm old enough, once I retired from corporations, we funded this ourselves, and up to this point. And when we get to the next stage, I'll do something different. But we've made it to this point and we funded it ourselves. So that's how we did it here.
So if people are in love with the conversation, they want to know more about your product, how people can find you, how this process work, how they can get access to the product.
Yeah, we sell online. That's the easiest way. It's called grassi.com, GRAASI.com. We also sell on Amazon.
Very
Um,
good.
and we also sell on Public Square. And for here in the States, we have a distributor network called SFP, that's Specialty Foods Partners. And we sell on fair.com. And then in the States, we have three distributors that we deal with that are physical distributors that they have our product in their warehouse that they ship. So, but for people generally speaking, Grassi.com is the best place to take a peek at it. And we sell online there.
Yeah. Any message that you have for the U.S. government that they are enhancing America U.S. products first, and also they want to have an improvement in their health of the population in general, and they doing some step moving forward. Finally, I say, and on the other hand, there you are. On the other hand, a small business owner facing a lot of overhead with the cost that organic takes, facing a lot of overhead because educating the consumer is going to cost hundreds and hundreds of millions in order to consume not only American product but also an American product that is good for you. So what message do you have for this administration? How it's not only about talking, something has to be done. So far, I only see only a little bit of talking, unless they tell me, no, Harry, that's not true. I'm receiving some grant, I'm receiving some support. But so far, what you described to me, you haven't received any help from anybody so far, right? Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so what message do you have then?
I would say let's continue to create a pro-business environment because that helps. I mean, money comes from businesses. It doesn't come from government. So healthy business environment is important. Keep at a minimum regulatory compliance, burdensome regulatory compliance, taxes. President Trump wants to get it down to about 15% corporate tax rate. We're on that. We're all for it. Sure. And continue to create an environment for small business to grow. And in many cases, Harry, it's really.
I mean, he's an entrepreneur. He 100% understand you. I get it. I believe he also have a water brand.
Oh, he does. I hadn't heard that.
So he got you 100%. Yeah. So
yes, I think,
hopefully. So hopefully things get in place. I understand, things get slow, but hopefully everything gets in place and the help required. I think that small business owners and people like you creating a product, that not only generate jobs in their own country, but also put something healthy out there, especially a product that we all consume a lot, which is water. Is something amazing, and hopefully. I believe that you need help. I believe that for this type of product, for this type of mission, because here we interview over 500 entrepreneurs, most of them multimillionaires, and you see, as entrepreneurs, we take all the responsibility, we take all the risk, but sometimes the product that we're putting out there, they're gonna have a big impact in society. So let's work all together, and like this, don't make the journey so tough for the entrepreneur. Make sense?
Yes, does make sense.
Thank you so much, Chris. And for all of you following the broadcast, our next episode of Unstoppable, how brave entrepreneur like Chris break that wall and achieve the first million. Bye for now.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
Follow us for more interviews with world's most influential, audacious entrepreneurs that overcame challenges and adversity, providing you with the blueprint of how they sold their first million so you can grow your business exponentially.